everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with a card that I really didn't want to have to make because I really don't like making sympathy cards, but I wanted to do this for one of my co-workers who lost her father in a absolute very tragic way, and I'm not going to go into any details and everything, but it was very, very sad. And anytime there's a death in your family or in the family, it is a very sad occasion. But for him to have lost his life in this manner, it's just really, really sad to hear and very, very painful to hear. So you don't have to make this as a sympathy card. You can change the greeting on the front and make it something else. But I went ahead and did this because I wanted her to know that I was thinking of her. So what does the card look like that we'll be making today? This is the card that I have made. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay, everybody, so I'm going to bring up the supplies so we can get started making this card. And I said before that I really hate making sympathy cards because it means a loss. But I had to do this for my coworker because she lost her father in a tragic way, and I wanted to show that I was thinking about her, and in time, hopefully, she'll be able to get past this. So let's go ahead and get started. So now my card measures 7.5 by 5.5. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut your cardstock 11 inches by 7.5 inches. And that is going to be the card base itself. So now this card is a lot of layering. And I did cut my layers out using my Silhouette, but you don't have to use the Silhouette. You can cut your layers out using your paper trimmer. So we're going to do our layering first, and then we'll add everything to the base of the card. So now my next layer, and this is just some Recollections cardstock, measures 5.25 by 7.25. So that's going to go there, but we're going to put it right here for now because we're going to go ahead and do our layering. And then my next layer measures 7 inches by 5 inches, and that is going to go on top of here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my ATG gun out and get some tape on here, and then we're going to add this layer to the card. And as you can see, or you might not be able to see, I had to write my measurements on the back so that I would remember. Although I did just go ahead and make my layers 1/4 inch for each one. So we'll add this one. And then our next layer, and all my paper is Recollections cardstock, measures 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. So that will go here. And then we'll have this layer on top of that, and this layer measures 6.5 by 4.5. And I'm not going to put this, I'm going to put this one aside because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ribbon in between here. So we're going to add and get some tape on this layer here, which is, I said, is 6.5 by 4.5. I decided I wanted to really layer. I think my ATG gun is running out of, oh, there we go. Thought I was running out. And I don't know about you, but anybody that owns one of these, I really hate changing the tape in these. This isn't the, I think it's Teresa Collins that has one. This is the actual original ATG gun that I got at, off of some website when people first started using them. So they pretty much, you put the tape in, the refill the same, but for some reason I always have trouble doing it, and I hate when it runs out. So I'm going to go ahead and add this layer. And then I'm going to add the final layer, which is this layer. Now, I went ahead and ran this through an embossing folder, and unfortunately, I have, this says it's indents. I'm not even sure who that's by and where I got it from, but I've had it for quite a while, and I don't think I've ever used it, but I decided to use it this time. And I couldn't decide which actual side I wanted to do this on, but I think I'm going to use this side. So this piece measures 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it's going to go right here. Now I'm going to be careful with this when I use the ATG gun, because I don't want to tear this. So I'm going to be very gentle with running my tape gun across here, because I don't want it to rip. And I probably could have used my Tombow as well, but I decided to go ahead and use the ATG gun. And to show you that my original ATG gun was red, as you can see there, and I spray painted it, of course, my favorite color, purple. So, I think I had it this way. We're going to lay this one down like so. So now what I'm going to do is, I do want to add my ribbon before I tape this down to this layer here. So, but before I add my ribbon, I want to get the rest of my embellishments on there. So next, we're going to move on to our next piece. Now this piece right here is a Silhouette file, and I will put the link to the file up here in the video somewhere. So I didn't write down what size I made this, so I'll give you the size as well when I put the item number up here. And that's going to go here. And I'm going to kind of move this or line this up so I can see how I want that, because I want my ribbon to go about right there. So I'm going to put this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and add this now. And because we're putting it on top of that embossed paper, I'm going to use the ATG gun again. And make sure I get tape everywhere. And then I'm going to just place this down here so I can actually line up where I want this to go, which is about right there. So now we've got that piece on there. And this paper, let's see if I can remember what paper pack I got this out of. I believe it was this one. Bitty Scraps, yep, there it is right there. So paper looks like this. And it's good to use for layering. And I believe I got this at Tuesday morning. I'm not sure. I've got so many paper packs half the time I don't remember where I've gotten them from. So now let's move on and start adding the rest of our layers here. So now my next layer, this is going to go on top of here, and I'm going to, I believe I'm going to pop this up. Let's see, we got a layer here, and then bring this over here, and then we have our layer here. So I'm going to go ahead and take all of these and tape these together, and then I'm going to pop that up. So this is just an oval that I cut out using my Silhouette. So if you have the Spellbinder dies, the oval shape, you can also use that, I'm sure, to cut out your oval shapes. But if you're going to use the Silhouette, you just use the oval click on the oval icon and draw out your oval shape. And I'm going to give you the measurement. So your width is 2.681 and the height is 3.598. So that is the first one, or the bottom layer. And in my next layer, I use the oval icon again on the Silhouette software, and I cut this one 2.379 by 3.212. So that one will go here. So let's get some tape on here. And I think with this I'm just going to use my Tombow to get my tape on there. I'm going to try to line this up evenly. And then I'm going to press that down. And then my sentiment, I did use the print and cut to do my sentiment. And this is, once again, the oval shape. And I cut this, and I'm sorry about that, I didn't write down the size, but I will put it up here in the video so you'll have it. And I'm going to put that right there. So now, as I said, I'm doing this as a sympathy card, but you could change the sentiment in the circle here and stamp something else if you want to rubber stamp something, or you can use your print and cut and put something else there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a sympathy card. It's just that this is what I needed to make, so that's why I have what I have on the front of here. But you can put whatever you need it for, or whatever you need to put. So now we can put that there, and we'll pop that up. But I'm going to get some ribbon so we can add our ribbon, and we'll be putting this on last too, because I think I'm going to pop this up as well. No, I think I'm going to lay that one flat. So let me go ahead and get some ribbon, and then I'll be back. Okay, everybody, so I am back, and I've already cut my ribbon. I just need to add it. So what I'm going to do is, I actually am going to use my Tombow to put my ribbon down rather than using the glue gun. So I'm just going to take, and I want this to be about right. I'm going to come over just a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to make sure I'm in camera frame. Not that you need to see me just putting this down. I could have put this down off camera. But I kind of want to line it up about right there. And then just fold that back. And fold that over. And I'm not going to add that just yet. I want to go ahead now and start adding this to this layer. So let's get out the ATG gun, and let's get some tape. Looks like we missed the edge of this. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and make sure I got some tape on there and fold that over. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll just get some tape along here. So this card does have a lot of layers on it. Sure I get some there on the edge. Since we have so many layers, I want to make sure it does stick down. And now we're going to go ahead and add this. Gotta make sure we put that down. And I apologize if you hear a bunch of banging in the background. My next door neighbor's remodeling his house. So we've heard a lot of banging and hammering and so forth. Okay, so now we've got all of our layers, and before we start and go ahead and add it to our card, well, actually I think we can go ahead and do that, because once I start popping up everything that I want to pop up, it's going to be harder to get this onto the card. So I'm going to just go ahead and put this on the card. So let's get some tape on the back of here. And then once I do that, then I can finish adding my other layers where I want things to pop up. And then we'll go ahead and embellish the card, and then we'll be done. So I've already added my inside sentiment, which is kind of personal, so I'm not going to show that, but I did use the print and cut feature for that. And let's make sure we're doing this the right way. And I'll line this up here, and then I'm just going to press down. So now I've got all my layers on there. And what I'm going to do now is go ahead and finish adding all of my embellishments, and I'll come back with the finished card and my envelope. Okay everybody, so I am back with the finished card, and this is it. So what I've gone and done is along the edge, along the ribbon here, I've added some pearl, and then I made a bow that I put down here. And this time, rather than using my Bow Easy, I use my Bow It All to make the bow. I really like the way the Bow It All makes the bows, because you can make several layers of a bow. And then what I've done is I've taken and put some bling swirls along here. And then over here, I've gone and taken some of the Recollections flowers and added them on the side here. And I did take and some of my homemade glimmer mist and mist them up. You may not be able to see it on camera, but I'll bring it up a little closer. I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up, but that's what it ended up looking like. And then for my envelope, I just took a pre-made envelope, because I didn't have that much dimension on there that I could go ahead and use a pre-made envelope. And I just stamped out with Sincere Sympathy on the envelope, and then I'm going to put my co-worker's name and her family along here, and I'll probably just handwrite that. So that is it everyone. This is the sympathy card that I made for my co-worker who lost her father in a very tragic way. Thanks for watching everybody. Bye.